could we be seeing a 45 cents XRP and potentially in between 31 to 34k Bitcoin? And I'm going to show you why energetically I feel like there's one last opportunity to get in at these discounted prices. Okay, so I'm going to show you some connections on the world stage that has happened. But welcome everybody, my name is Kelita Sahliah. If you are new, I am a mother, I'm a real angel, and of course I dabble in crypto, and that's why you are here. So over here we follow astrology of the sky. So we use the visible sky that is above our head, that is different to mainstream tropical astrology, so the placements will be different, but we use this astrology in alignment with the crypto market to see what could potentially be happening. And we also, if you are new, the order of the video, we go over Gematria connections, the astrological story of what's happening this cycle and how it could impact or could not impact the crypto market this cycle. And then we follow up with the technical analysis for Bitcoin, XRP, and the DXY. So, welcome everybody. I was told before, like, my audio wasn't the best. It was a bit poor, but I do have a mic now, so this is the best that I can do. Okay, it's literally the best that mama can do right now. So, turn your volumes up. But anyway, let's get into it. So I'm going to jump right into the Gematria connections first because interesting things are gone. So this is basically my threads on Instagram. Feel free to check me out over here. But we're going to look at King Charles getting Cancer. I spelled his name completely wrong here, but that's fine. It's correct in the Gematria. Charles getting Cancer, as well as the CHILIE wildfires. Why am I linking these two together? Because in my last video I says I didn't really feel like doing Gematria connections, but this cycle, this video, I feel like doing it because interestingly enough, both of them, the CHILIE fires and King Charles, in ordinal, both of them equal 151. So again, welcome everybody. This is Crypto Angles podcast number 47. Oh, confirmation burp. Which equals 11. So over here I do like to look at multiple angles of what's going on to get a holistic view of everything. So that's why we've got number breakdowns over here. So we've got an 11 portal here going through the doors of something. King Charles getting Cancer equals 405, giving 9. So we're getting some endings, cycles endings and new beginnings coming up. CHILIE fires in Hebrew 1177, giving us 16:7. So we're getting 7, and of course both of them having the 151 gives us 7 as well. So we're getting 9 and 7 energies here. 7 is filled with wisdom, it's a little bit of isolation, and it's also source, in alignment with ethereal wisdom, the 9, and endings and beginnings with the energies that have happened on the world stage and what we're ready to enter into. So let's get through the Gematria connections quickly, then the astrological story, and then we'll follow up with the technical analysis. Do give a like on the video to help you go out, but let's start. So as you may or may not have known, King Charles was diagnosed with cancer, and this story is quite interesting. So he doesn't even want to take the traditional, I won't say traditional, the more common route of chemotherapy, but that's another story. He wants to take natural herbs. So that's just interesting, and how that will play out in our hologram in terms of the whole energy. But let's get into the connections of this anyway. So King Charles, as I says, giving us that 405 and that 151. So yeah, let's look at the rest of them. We've got XBTC. So this is interesting. And now that I've said it, we may take a look at this chart, but yeah, XBTC, little crypto of here. We've got the Ring of Fire. So it's just giving phoenix energy right now. We are now in the year of the dragon, ring of fire. He is the death code. Interesting, as especially because we had the 9 energy, with endings happening. So presence of God, God source is involved right now, as always. Got the color red. Now this is interesting. The reason why I picked this out is because I brought up red before. So when I was talking about over on my Patreon, it's also on my YouTube as well, the war narrative fuels price discovery. So within this video, Crypto Angles podcast number 37, a code come up of paint the town red. Now, if you know about music or Doja Cat, I don't know too much about her, but that song was trending like a shitload on TikTok. What is it? Yes, bitch, I said what I said. I will paint the town red. Something like that, it said. So, of course, we've got the color red. So, do check out this podcast if you would like to. It's on my Patreon. It's open on my Patreon. It's also on my YouTube as well. Everything will be linked. So, this to me is telling me that this action, him even getting cancer on the world stage at this interesting time, is also linked to the war narrative, painting the town red, red, blood in the streets. You buy when there's blood in the streets and fear in the market. But we've also got lithium. So lithium is on the periodic table. So that's why I brought that out. And because I see us as light fractalized and identified into matter through the periodic table of elements, we are the L, the gods are L basically, and lithium is a part of it. So I'm just paying attention. For those who don't know, Gematria basically just shows the connections things have with each other. It shows the connections. It's like this is something will happen on the world stage, and this is how they communicate with each other. It's the coding of our reality, basically. So all of these things have a relationship with each other, and it can create like a chain reaction when one thing starts. So do pay attention, especially if anything comes up or pops up in your personal life. But as I mentioned, lithium, we've got the golden age begins. Okay, this is why I'm just like energetically in the crypto space. We may get that one last opportunity of discounted prices. So it's like there's still time, but the time is closing, and we have had them codes come up in my past podcasts as well. But the golden age, we're getting paradigm shift. So the pendulum is switching energetically. Okay, so let's go on to the other one. I feel I have to click it and then go down. Yeah. We've got political games. So of course a shit ton is happening with politics right now. If more just opens up and appears up more, like you've got Rishi Sunak doing the absolute most right now, is part of this paradigm shift and the golden age beginning. Remember, Pluto is in Capricorn. It literally just entered Capricorn, as this is astrology of the sky. So the old needs to be teared down for the new to come in to build these foundations. Energy, matter, that's of course what we are. We've got twin flame merge. This is interesting because oh gosh, this is on the wrong thing. It's the 151. It's not with that, but that's going to come up again anyway, so I'll speak about it then. And then we're going on to the Hebrew connections now of the CHILIE wildfires. Okay, so we're moving from King Charles, and it's the CHILIE wildfires of 1177. We're getting great harvest. Energy harvesting at its finest. Unfortunately, my heart goes out to those who have lost their home in this. And it vexes me that they just use so many souls for rituals. It really does. Though there is a great harvest happening at this time, not just the CHILIE fires, but with your attention, and it's going to continue with what happens harvest time. Got banks, wealth. We know a lot's happening with the banks at the moment. So what's going to happen? I guess we just need to watch the story unfold. We've got global lockdown. Could they potentially attempt this again? Whether or not we comply, that's a different story. But they could attempt it. So we'll see. Confirmation burp, but we've got real chess moves. So it's like another burp. Oh gosh. All of these things happening are chess moves in their whole game. Okay, so keep that in mind. And these CHILIE fires was another one, unfortunately, of their chess moves being played out. We've got the super sturgeon moon. So this is interesting. Why is this interesting? And I'll bring it up because we have in my new calendar, so do grab it, it's available on Etsy. There is a 10% discount, but we have our, look here, we've got the moon dates. We've got our super sturgeon moon, the 19th of August. So let's just scroll down to August. We've got this super sturgeon moon in Aquarius. Now, if you have watched my video where I said leave the world behind is signaling important dates, do check out that crypto podcast. Definitely check it out. Where is it? Yeah, here. It's literally crypto podcast. Crypto Angles podcast number 38. It's signaling important dates, and this sturgeon moon, this super sturgeon moon, was one of them. We've got April, August, and November into December. So this is fascinating. This is just telling me that pay attention. And this is what I mean. This is how they communicate with each other. And I really do hope those who have the ears to listen and can just bear with me throughout this whole video. I'm dropping gems. I feel I really am. But it's another signal. These Chile wildfires, King Charles getting cancer, they signaled to those who need to know, pay attention to this time. So I did say in this video, I'm feeling April, we're gonna get like a little, like, okay, a slight notice in the market, in the crypto market. It may then get a little boring. However, when this super sturgeon moon comes in, it's just gonna be like, oh, whoa. Okay, so basically end of August going into September 2024. Keep that in mind, people, and it's popped up in the coding. So that was the last one there. Continuing on with CHILIE, again we've got end time harvest. We had with King Charles in Hebrew, we had the 9. So endings are happening, harvest time, full of energy. Subconscious implants with all the shit that they're doing. You know, I don't know if you're aware of like timeline splitting and timeline shifts and shit like that and what's kind of happening, but there may be implants into your mind of what you see, of what they want you to see. And it's kind of like those who are on a different timeline and who are unable to see will be more susceptible to it, but could come true. Arcturus, Orion, Pleiades. Now I've added this because this is a bit more personal to me, because of course I use the sky to look at my astrology and the crypto market, but these are part of the 88 constellations in the sky. They are a part of it. And yeah, obviously you probably know, if you're into whatever spiritual community, people probably say I'm from the Pleiades. I don't know about that, like I don't know, but all I know is that I can see the Pleiades star constellation in the sky. It's very noticeable, as well as Orion and Arcturus. So become rainbow. I found this interesting because when it comes to our chakra system and our chakras, yes, we have more than 7, but the main ones are 7. We've got loads, which creates our entire hologram, but we were subject to the lower aspects of our chakra system, literally yellow, orange, red. But become the rainbow, we open up the green, the blue, the indigo, and so on. We're becoming the rainbow, and this is why I feel energetically there's just a shift happening, as we had paradigm shift and the golden age begins. The ability, the capacity within our cellular data to experience life on all spectrums of the rainbow. Okay? Knowing self, and I guess it comes from knowing thyself. It's really important to know self. A crown chakra, again, part of the chakra system, crown chakra opening up. Only birth code matters. So, do you know your birth code? I'll just put that in there. I do give personal readings if anyone's interested in that, but ultimately, trusting yourself is all that you need. But having that deeper insight does help, whether that's through numerology. What's the other one? Human design. I don't really fuck with that, to be fair, but I do look at the coding of your astrological placements, and ultimately, that plays a big role. Mind control via EMF. So again, this is going back to the subconscious implants. Could that be how they're planting certain things? So stay alert, ultimately, be aware. Smart money concepts, again, CBDCs. It's more like smart money, isn't it? We've got abomination that maketh desolation. So again, this is a bit more personal to me, coming from a religious background. A lot was preached about the abomination of desolation, basically end times are gone, and we've had end times coming up as well. So I do want to get into now both of them combined together, giving us that 151. Yeah, giving us that 151. So let's look at the other connections. You've also got King Charles Cancer giving us that 152. Why I find this interesting? Because we've got 51 and then 52. They're numbers straight after each other, and we had the wildfires came in 2nd of February 2024, and then King Charles was announced having cancer on the 17th of January. So again, it's like there's no coincidences that in Chaldean you've got the number before 51 and then the next number 52, but both of them are connected with that 151. So the code kind of don't lie, people lie, but numbers can't. Okay, so there's no coincidences, but let's get into the extra connections. So this 151, it's an emergency alert. So when the wildfires went off, when King Charles had his cancer, it was an emergency alert, linking of course to the other things that it could be connected to. Oh, galactic alignment, giving us that 151 and also giving us 50 before the 51 of the CHILIE wildfires. Now, if you have been following my other videos on YouTube, I did mention this 2024, the universal 8 year, as well as what Pluto is doing. Things are going, you know. I mentioned also the 5th dimension. I says in November I put out a video saying the 5th dimension portal is now open. I will link it to this video, so feel free to check that out because that still applies for now. But again, no coincidences that it's 50, 51 and then 52. We've had the galactic alignment, then these energetic shifts happen with the harvest time, unfortunately, of the CHILIE wildfires, and then King Charles getting cancer in 52. It's all galactic alignment. Getting as well the Great Reset. So energetically, this paradigm shift is going right now, fam. Revolution, and we're getting that 52. So in ordinal, rabbits equaled 52. Now we've exited the year of the rabbit, but I feel like this revolution is coming from what we have experienced within the year of the rabbit, because so many people were fed up. I definitely was. Retribution. So are those who need to be retributed, will they be brought to that? We shall see. Valentine's Day. So again, I do find this interesting. We're getting that 52 year of the rabbit as well. And Valentine's Day has just happened. All of these things, sorry, having a little sip of wine, but all of these things basically happened before Valentine's Day. So No coincidences. Again, you got USA president. We're getting that rabbit 52 as well. I'm sure it was 47. No, I think it was 49. That was war. But pay attention to what the president is doing. If you like to follow politics, I personally don't. Enki mathematics. So I did include this because if you know of the story of Enki and Enlil, who supposedly were the ones, the Sumerians, who tampered with the DNA of the humans and then created things. So it's kind of like his mathematical code is a part of this. I cannot remember, was Enki the good one and Enlil was the bad one? I can't remember for the life of me, but whoever it is, their mathematics are included in this paradigm shift. So just 20 more, not a lot. But as I mentioned, I done a video on the fifth dimension portal being activated in November 2023. We're also getting fifth dimension with the 151. The fifth dimension connects everything together. It is, yeah, it's that remembrance that we are all one, unity consciousness, and it's from that we can oscillate and enter into the higher frequency bandwidths through knowing we are all one. When you only see yourself as separate, you remain on the lower bandwidths of reality. So again, this is why I'm like, energetically I feel like a portal has opened, and how that reflects in our hologram with the crypto market is potentially the last best lows of this year coming in soon. So we've got the Christ key, that Christ chrism oil kundalini, but the key with all of this golden escalator. Now we've had a lot of blues clues and we've had a lot of gold stuff coming through with our Gematria connections throughout all of my podcasts. This is another gold one, escalator going up, and golden age. So another one. We've got the Hunger Games. And I find it so interesting. In Chaldean, both of them are the same. So it's like, this isn't like a reflection of the potential splitting of timelines. You've got some on this golden escalator, and then some operating within this Hunger Games narrative, causing strife. Again, we've also had political games, so if strife happens all up in 2024, as I mentioned, Pluto's gone into Capricorn, the old needs to be teared down, which may be a lot of noise on the world stage before new can be built in our foundation. But we've got the Fibonacci sequence, so geometry is all up in the coding right now. We've got new realm order, so the order of the realm, and again, we have 51, coming to that 51, but it linked to CHILIE wildfires, new realm order. So we're not in a world, we are in a realm. This is our realm that we share together collectively. So a new order is coming through energetically. Purple skies, we're getting the rabbit number here, 52. So I don't know if you're biblical. I was raised up in the church. I'm not religious anymore, but you did have in the Bible, use the skies for seasons, blah, blah, blah. So pay attention to purple skies. And this is where it's like bringing the coding into your reality to see what's going on. If you just notice purple skies, remember the rest of these connections. Got love is the law, of course, especially if you pick that up in the year of the rabbit. Love is the law, and I'm sure 49 equals war. Love and war. That's wild. But love story, so love may be in the air energetically with this. And the last one, then we get into the astrological story. Enjoy utopia. Again, it's kind of like what was picked up in the year of the rabbit. We're getting ready to enjoy that, especially if you felt like shit, you tasted something and it didn't happen. I feel it's energetically coming. Remnants of God, and this is fascinating because in Chaldean it's 58, XRP equals 58, as well as Kelita equals 58. Remnants of God. God is source, you know. We are all technically remnants of God. Twin flame merge, so this is where it comes up. So again, I don't really see twin flames as another person. I see it as a left and right hemisphere of your brains coming together at the exact percentage they need to, whether that's more on one side or less on the other, but ultimately equals 100%. So trusting yourself even more may come up in this time. So much money, bro. So much money. And we did have, was it the Great Reset? Something come up with 50, didn't it? Yeah, something came up with 50 before the Chile wildfires. Confirmation burp. I can't remember if it was the Great Reset though. But so much money, bro. We've also got Kobe Bryant death again with that 50. Now, I don't pay too much attention to like sports and stuff, but my mental waters above went in quite deep with Kobe Bryant's death and so many connections. So do check out some of his videos, but his death was definitely a ritual and it played a big part energetically with what's going on in the whole narrative and world stage. There is a hidden treasure, and I find this interesting. We're getting that 52. It brings me back to, even though the year of the rabbit 2023 may have been quite shit, it may have been fucking shit, but it's like the experiences you probably tapped into within this year was a hidden treasure. So keep that in mind. Rabbit, just showing you the connections. Rabbit does equal 22. And reverse reduction in the mirror is 25. Look at that perfect mirror. And if you were to mirror the Chaldean, we're also getting 21. 21 equals Saturn. So the hardness within the year of the rabbit just makes sense. And then of course we are getting dragon, which is 59, which we're entering now, and 22. So do keep an eye out for these codes. But yeah, these are the Gematria connections. So do let me know if any of these stood out to you, if you liked it or not. Yeah, if it was interesting, or if any of them things have popped up in your life, please give a like on the video. It will just help mama out. It will help mama out so much. But let's get into the astrological story anyway. And I am doing this at night. I'm doing this at 1 a.m. because family's coming in the morning. So I'm just like, let me just do the video now, so it's done and I can have a little lie-in and just spend time with family tomorrow. So of course we're going to go through this calendar, and I did not show you, this calendar is available on Etsy. Do grab it if you'd like. This one should have a sale on it, but it's not there, so I'll put it on it. The physical copy is super cheap because there was a little discrepancy, and of course it's coming to the end of this calendar. It finishes in March, but it's perfect for backdating, back testing, and learning as well. But do grab the other calendar. But let's get into this astrological story. So we're technically here because it's past midnight, so we're going from the 18th to the 24th, and let's see Wagwan. So one thing I do want to put out, which isn't on the digital calendar but it is involved in the new calendar, is the child luminary. So child, and I did mention this on my energy update that was released Thursday. So the Thursday just gone, it was released. On Monday we do have child entering a star constellation that is not mentioned at all within mainstream astrology. So it's entering scutum, okay, which is here, and it is involved in the new calendar, but that's where child is entering. It's moving from serpens and ophiuchus, and it's entering scutum on the 19th. Now, I don't feel this plays a big part in the crypto market. However, as I says, I see us as light fractalized and densified into matter, and this is why I pay attention to the astrology of the sky, not mainstream tropical Western astrology, but astrology of the sky, because we are the stars. We're a reflection of the stars in the waters above our head, and this reflection impacts us through the periodic table of elements on how we act within the crypto market. So when it comes to our inner child, it's being protected by who? Scutum, because it's a shield in the sky. It's a shield of protection. So our inner child is being protected. So it's kind of like what we kind of wanted, especially people who have, you know, had lessons after lessons in the crypto market, or is getting super tired in the crypto market. Our inner child right now is definitely being protected in terms of what it would like. Okay, so again, potential opportunities for discounts in the crypto market. But then moving on to Mercury is moving into Aquarius. Now, Mercury is probably one of the biggest luminaries to pay attention to when it comes to the Crypto Angles podcast, because Mercury is about energy exchange. Ultimately, it is the way you communicate, the way you think, the way you exchange your energy, and this is money as well. So Mercury, being Hermes, the winged god in mythology, it's all about giving messages and fake money, exchanging that fake money and things of that nature. Fake money is cryptocurrency. It's all money basically, because we've created it. The best currency, the only true currency, is your energy. So if it's outside of your energy, confirmation burp, if it's outside of that and it's in this physical form, it's fake money, and that's Mercury. So it's moving into Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is fueled by Uranus. So Uranus is known as the father of electricity. It's linked to plutonium. I'm sure it's 94 on the periodic table of elements, but it's linked to plutonium anyway. So it does have these Pluto qualities within it. And of course, Pluto is in Capricorn, getting ready to lay these foundations, these new solid foundations. So keep that in mind throughout all of this. But Uranus is, it can create this electric change. But this electric change that comes about, it's about tearing down the old for the new to come in. So it could look a bit messy. This is again why I'm seeing potential lows in the market before continuation, because as well as we're in all of this Capricorn energy, obviously Mercury's moving from Capricorn, but Mars, Venus, Pluto are all in Capricorn. It's about laying a stable foundation. Now, in order to lay that foundation, the way we exchange our energy, something needs to change, something needs to give, and that's the one who fuels Aquarius. So yeah. So as it comes with this electric change, sudden change, there could potentially be lows in the market. Of course, Aquarius is also very sociable, networky, but I don't really feel like that is part of crypto right now. I feel what's coming through to me is sudden change, which could shock people, but ultimately it's that Uranus energy of tearing down the old, getting rid of it. So Uranus can be a little bit of a dick, like harder energy to work with, but it's tearing that down, creating that sudden change, that tower moment, to welcome in the new. And it's welcoming in the new within all of this foundational energy, as Pluto is there as well. Okay, so keep that in mind. The way we will be exchanging our energy, possibly investing, or exchanging our energy, will be in this wave of it creating possible change. All right, so that sudden destruction is coming through a lot with this energy, and Mercury is staying there until it moves into Pisces on the 7th, but we'll get to that when we get there on the last month of this calendar. So do make sure you get the next one to follow along. Digital and physical copies are available. But the next thing, we do have the full moon. So this full moon is again, important. It's super important. As I mentioned in my last video, I was anticipating price to be reaching its resistance level round about the new moon. We are still pretty much in like the ending of the new moon energy right now, so do keep that in mind. But and that's exactly what price did. You know, someone commented, and you know, I says on my last video, I was like, Bitcoin bull trap, and someone was like, they laughed and like, but it's going up. I'm like, bro, the price needs to go up in order for it to be a motherfucking bull trap. Otherwise, it's not a bull trap. Like, I don't understand some people. But anyway, price did exactly what I anticipated. It rose to the resistance. This is a little discrepancy. It should have been a Capricorn new moon, not Aquarius. But the new digital copies is up to date, but of course the physical, that's all I can do. So do keep that in mind if you do grab the physical, and double check with the app. But price rose to its resistance. That's why Bitcoin has now gone up to, where is it at? 51 is ranging between 50 and 51k right now, and it reached to the highs of 52, just above 52k, because price was ready to find its resistance. Now we're entering into this full moon. So those who don't know, when it's the new moon, price finds its resistance. When it's the full moon, price finds its support. Once it's found its resistance in the new moon, you could potentially short the market, and once it's found its support, you can potentially long the market. Or, you know, if you don't trade, it's accumulate when price has found its support and bottom within the market. Now the moon energy always lasts 5 days before and 5 days after. So of course we're here on the 18th right now, so 5 days before, from the 24th, is 1 2 3 4 5, so from Monday. So basically this new moon energy, it did end it ended on Valentine's Day, but we're still in this transition period of like a few days. So do keep that in mind for any potential last impulses, if that could happen. It may not, but do keep that in mind. But ultimately we're entering from Monday into this bottoming energy, for price getting ready to find its support, and it lasts for 5 days after, so it ends on the 29th, essentially, and then we have that little transition energy. So basically from the end of February going into March, price will be getting ready to find its new support on the world stage. Now I also want to bring your awareness to the fact that it's a Leo full moon. So if you know, the market is currency, the market is water, that's why we have banks, all that stuff is water. Leo is a fire sign. Okay, water and fire don't mix. How did the mouse get so big? Wow. Oh wow, I did not know it could do that. Interesting. Anyway, water and fire does not mix. So this is why I'm seeing potential, like the last lows in the market. However, though water and fire do not mix, Leo is very confident in who it is. It's that I am type of energy. That's basically Leo. So even if it could be and say a significant low, we'll just have to see how low the market could potentially go. But I'm seeing a possible spring, and why I'm seeing this as well is because the Bitcoin halving is happening in April 2024. And usually what I've learned from my mentor, again, Waters Above, do check him out, he's amazing. But after back testing, it's usually 50 to 55 days before the Bitcoin halving, we have the lowest lows in the market. And that's why I feel there's no coincidence that it's a Leo full moon. However, these lowest lows could sometimes come with a spring action within the TA. So it's like it's wicked down, and then it's brought up quite quickly within a few days, or literally within that cycle. And And again, it's just calling me back to this Leo energy of it being fire. It can be quite weak, meaning the low may be a bit lower. However, because it's the I am that I am, it's the sun type of energy, that could spring it back up quite quickly. I.e., in other words, the end of February going into March, beginning of March, there may potentially be a black swan event on the world stage, which will cause the market makers to mess with people's emotions after bringing it so high in that bull trap that I said in my last video, bringing it so high and then selling, wash out all the retail. And then when the market is lower, cheaper prices, because even though they're billionaires, millionaires, multi-billionaires and multi-millionaires, they still want to get in as low as motherfucking possible. So it's like, it's sold, and then once it's sold, they buy it back up quite quickly. And then once it's brought back up, price may just range and get boring. But we'll get into why I'm seeing a bit more of that in later videos, especially in alignment with that leave the world behind. So that's what I'm seeing for the astrological story. Do let me know if that resonates, if you see what I've said kind of aligns to it or not. Do let me know. Okay, so yeah, and do give a thumbs on the video, but let's get into the technical analysis. I'm going to do XRP first because I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, and then we'll get into Bitcoin and then the DXY. So why are you not doing what you need to do? So I am on the W time frame right now, but I just want to look at, can we just congratulate myself please, as I have more indicators on in one go. So anyway, I do want to bring your awareness to the MACD. So yeah, what I find interesting, obviously the red has crossed over the blue. We do have quite a bit of like selling pressure here, but it's interesting to see how it continues to move. It really is. Will we get a little bit of green and then a lower red? So I am going to keep an eye on the MACD. But looking at the RSI, something I do want to pay attention to on the W time frame is that we broke below the 50, and it's like we're retesting it right now. So we've not been oversold. I don't feel like, where were we here? When was this? 2020. I don't feel we're going to get as low as this, even in the RSI personally, but we can only see. But what I'm seeing right now on the W time frame is, even if we have a little bit of momentum to go up that little bit to retest that 50, we may get hit with the yellow RSI, and that could cause this extra downward momentum. And of course, when we get into the DXY, we'll see that a little bit more clearer. But that's kind of what I'm seeing. Could it potentially, within the RSI, could it potentially want to make a head and shoulder, you know? And that would be interesting to see if the volume doesn't go as low as this point on the W time frame, because it's quite a larger time frame. That would be interesting to see. Would we be getting a bullish divergent? So we'll see. Or could we come a little bit lower, creating a higher low from this point, its lowest low, before continuation? So that is a possibility. Now, looking just at the chart. So, why did I say, could we potentially be getting this 44 cents XRP? 44, 45 cents XRP. Just had a little sip. I do this in one take, people, so I think I deserve a round of applause. But let's just get the drawings on. So something I noticed, which I find super interesting, is this parallel channel. Why? Because it goes back quite far. So we've got XRP's inception round about here, or a bit lower. I don't, does this chart, when is this? No, this chart doesn't actually go back to when its inception was, but on another chart I had it. Oh, I don't know where that chart is now. Oh gosh. But anyway, we had price on XRP's inception. We did have price trading within this channel. We had it trading within this channel. Then it broke through, it did what it needed to do, and then we're in 2017. So when it started in 20, why isn't it showing 27? Oh, it's because there's no chart data. Oh gosh, where was that other chart? Sorry. But basically, this is probably all the information we need. On its inception, it was within this channel. Or it was trading literally just above it, as it was here. And then maybe I'll show it in the next video when I find it in advance. But it was trading above it, as you can see, this parallel channel. It was using it as its support. It came down, it got close to it, got rejected quite nicely, went all the way back up, was pretty close to it before it broke into it. When price broke into it, it then found its resistance on the channel. It fell down, it attempted that resistance again, then it hit the bottom of the channel, hit it once, twice, and then it broke through. Eventually it broke through, needed to do what it needed to do, and then collapsed back into the channel. Oh, confirmation burp, sorry. I'm not the most elegant at times, but I say it sometimes, I say it. And then price broke through the channel before literally coming back in. Had an attempt to break through, and we do have this little triangle, because I drew this green triangle first before doing the parallel line. It got rejected. It literally wicked at the bottom of this parallel channel, came back up, got rejected off this triangle, and now is literally trading back within this parallel triangle. So let's just take a look at the smaller time frames to get a clear picture. Do let me know if it helps, and of course like the video. So as you can see, I'm just going to put it to line for the moment because it's much more clearer why I drew the lines that way. So the line, as you can see, we were clearly rejected off these points, 1, 2, 3, a little bit 4, but we've not hit it again. We haven't hit the bottom of the parallel channel since March 2023. We've not hit it. Now we are coming up to obviously March very soon, and as I mentioned, with this full moon energy end of February going into March, could we potentially see lows? Could that be a possibility? It may not. It may not, but this channel is interesting. It is interesting. Yeah, it is interesting. We've had one cluster, two clusters, quite, broad space. Could this be the third cluster to hit it? And if we get rejected off this zone, only if we get rejected, if we have the momentum and capacity to come up to here, that's interesting. What's that? 59 cents. But if we get rejected off 59 cents, could we come back down and come back lower to that 44? As you can see over here, check over here where my mouse is moving. Touching the bottom of the parallel channel is the highs of 44 to 45 cents XRP. Now, would that be bad? No. Why wouldn't it? Because we've got our lows here. Here we then have our higher lows. They're slightly higher than here. So if price was to come back and retest this parallel line, it's not really too bad, because we're creating another higher low. So it's quite a good market structure, really. And I don't know, as you can see, I've got this little red line, red box right here, where price clearly got rejected from. Quite a clear rejection. It was some form of support, as price kind of hit down on it, got rejected. No, not rejected, found it as support before breaking through, hit it again, came above it, then it was its resistance, came down, and it's still its resistance again. So could price potentially hit that as another resistance? Will it get as high as the 59 cents? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. We've only got a little bit left of this moon, the new moon energy of it finding its resistance. And let me just put the moon phases on. So as you can see, its resistance level was basically where it hit out. So could we be getting that lower low in? Another reason why I'm anticipating it, is because, I don't know, when it comes to XRP, sometimes it likes to move in like threes and fours. So it's like 4 is the last move, but it's like from this move it fell 1, 2, 3. So could we get a slightly higher high? That's a possibility. Just sitting at 50 to 51. That is a possibility. Still a discount. Or could it finalize on its 4th move to touch this parallel bottom before potentially trading within it and eventually breaking out of this triangle? So that is an option. Yeah, it's an option. And I did, where was that other one? Coming back to this wick down, I've mentioned this in a few videos. I've noticed when it comes to wicks, when there's some massive ass wick going down, price doesn't usually go all the way down as that initial wick, but it comes to a certain level. So as you can see, it done it here too. It came to this level slightly higher than the actual wick where the volume of price stayed. Oh, confirmation burp. Could we potentially be retesting this wick? If we come back down to this point, as you can see, the dots, it's still, even if we hit that highs of 44 to 45 cents, there's still quite a little gap of this candle where price tested, while it tests quite a strong support zone. So that is another possibility why I'm seeing it potentially go in that low. And of course it all depends on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is to go lower, it will drag the rest of them down. Let's just take a look at smaller time frames. So on the 4 hour, it looks like just at this zone, it looks like it broke through a small trading zone, and it literally looks like it broke back through it and is retesting it. So that could be, as you can see just here, this zone here, that could be another thing to pay attention to. We could just get that little retest before going back down to this lower level. And if we can't hold this, we may drop down to this green trend line. It's kind of what I'm seeing there on the 1 hour. RSI on the MACD, little potential upward movement or just stabilization. RSI, we are pointing to the downside, but could we bounce off of that short termly? But long term, the RSI on the 4 hour, you notice it's at the 50. So that's something to pay attention to. It's sprung below it and it's at the 50 right now, or just a little bit above the 50. So if this turns, could we get another slope to the downside to get closer to being oversold on the smaller time frames? Yeah, the last thing I would like to show, let's just get the EMAs on. I'm gonna hide, I can't hide the Bollinger Bands. Yes, no, it's not the Bollinger Bands. So I've put the SMA on. So yeah, oh gosh, okay, so we've got the 200 moving average, and then we've got the 55 moving average, and then the 8 moving average. And price, it could have that little support on the 8, but it is below the 55 and the 200, and the 200 is above, so that's not looking like a good sign personally. We're going to put on the luminary moving averages right now. What I like to see with the luminary moving averages, of course, Saturn, Pluto, Mercury are above, but Uranus still needs to be at the bottom for a more confirmed upward movement, because Uranus is still above of Venus and Neptune. There's still potential downward movements coming, and like I says, price could even just wick down, and then it could just spring back up and then range at a higher level. That is a possibility. I'm going to get rid of both of these and put on the estimated moving averages just to get a little look. So again, with the estimated moving averages, the 200 is above the price. That's not what we want to see. It's not. So again, it's confirmation of downward momentum. Price may find a little support on it, but like, as you can see here, the red is below the orange and the yellow. I can't remember what all of these were. Let's take a look, because I can't remember. 13, 21, 34. Okay, so the red is a 34. The red is a 34. The 21 is the orange, and the 13 is the yellow. 200 is the green. So yeah, the red is above as well, and that's something you kind of just don't want to see. For upward momentum, the red's at the bottom, so the 34 is at the bottom and it's following the 8. But this 200 moving average should be at the bottom for continuation up, so kind of like another signal that I'm seeing. And the last one I am going to put on, no, last two, so the Bollinger Bands, it's kind of like price tapped out at the top of the Bollinger Band. Yeah, it topped out. There was a lot of movement there. So yeah, as you can see, when it's following just like the red Bollinger Band, there's upward momentum until it can't go up no more. Then it pushes it down. It gets ready to touch the lower Bollinger Band. So it's kind of like price has been on, it's been touched it, pretty much past it. So could we be in the energy now, potentially moving into this full moon to get ready to touch this bottom Bollinger Band? And as I says, it's like price, we may get a wick to touch down to this level, and then price is just brought back up and then hovers even within this Bollinger Band. So that is interesting. That's not what I wanted. Yeah, so that's what I'm seeing for XRP anyway. Let's get on to Bitcoin and Zen ZDXY. So do let me know if you like the XRP technical analysis, and give me a thumbs up if you would like to. Only if you would like to. So coming to Bitcoin anyway, we're getting clearly oversold on the daily. Let's take a look at a higher time frame. Okay, so something I would like to bring your awareness to is we're potentially getting a bearish divergent. because is it on here already? Yeah. So as you can see, I have to move it just a little. Within the RSI, we're getting price reaching highs, and then we're getting, so when was this? December. End of December, price was at, within the RSI, it was oversold. Now, even though price is higher, the RSI is showing lower. So this is giving a bearish diversion, because as you can see, though price is higher within the RSI on this level right now, price has actually gone higher than that, but the RSI is showing lower. So we're getting downward in the RSI, and then we're getting upward when it comes to price. So it's giving a bearish diversion, telling us a potential signal that this is gonna go down, 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 down soon at some point, you know, to get those last discount prices, best opportunity for 2024 to happen. So it's giving the clearest sign for that. And as you can see, I've put on my chart, it's a clearer sign, it's a clearer chart, people. Can I get a round of applause? My chart's not as messy, but this was the last breakout zone. Really, we did have this trading cluster and then it broke out, but on this end it just wasn't as strong, but it is still something to pay attention to. And I am actually going to pay attention to it. Let me draw a box, because as I says, I'm anticipating a potential spring, so a potential wick down and then brought back up opportunity. That's kind of what I'm anticipating. And of course, even though this doesn't have as much as a solid structure, looking to the left, there is some structure, as price was rejected off of this level, retested its last breakout zone before breaking through this level. Once it broke back down, it retested it again, retested its last breakout zone, and then broke through. It then came back down, retested it, had a little trading cluster that happened before literally coming back down, and then eventually being rejected. This was its resistance, and then it broke through. My only thing is, it has not retested this last breakout zone. So could this zone potentially be the lows Bitcoin goes to? That possible wick down and spring type of thing. So it's like, could this be a case? And get the brush. So if we're rejected at this level, because we're getting this bearish diversion. Oh, what's going on? Was that not the brush? Bro, what's going on? We come down. There's some little trading happening here, whatever happens. And then there's this wick down, and then we come back up and then hover at this level before continuing. Like, it just, not as far as January, oh gosh, but basically, could that be it? So we have this trading cluster, we have this wick down, is brought up quite quickly just to quickly retest this last zone, because it's very strong. It was going since 2021, so it's a very strong area. This 32 zone, yeah, confirmation, but this 31 to 32 zone, could that be the wick, and then price just wants to range here? That's a possibility. Oh gosh, don't want to do that. So do keep that in mind, especially after getting clear rejection. And I feel like I don't want anyone to FOMO into Bitcoin. I've learned so many lessons, and I really don't want people to go through them. But I don't want people to FOMO into Bitcoin thinking, oh shit, damn, I missed this opportunity, let me just get in here. And then a black swan event happens on the world stage, because, you know, we're entering into this full moon, Leo. We've got loads of war narratives, we've got this paradigm shift, we've got all of these things happening. And And as I mentioned, Pluto is setting foundations, but it needs to rip down the old so it can look destructive, meaning that possibility of these last lows in crypto causing people to fear and panic. And then what happens? It gets boring before it continues up. So definitely possibly quicker than this whole timeline that I've done. Or could it last this long? I don't know. But it was just a rough drawing, but that's kind of what I'm seeing. If price doesn't just hover here, it could create a structure here, but this could be just quite a quick spring going up. But we'll see. Don't hold me accountable. We need to see how it all goes. Okay? We need to see how it all goes. So, let's just get rid of my amazing drawing and let's put on, I'll just show you the moon phases with Bitcoin. Obviously, as you can see, this was our resistance level quite happily, yeah, from the new moon, no moon. We then have, let's take a look at our astrology, our luminaries. Now, when it comes to luminaries on the W time frame, it's good that Uranus is at the bottom. That's definitely a good sign. However, it's super extended from them. So let's just come down to a smaller time frame to get a clearer view. So again, just like XRP, Uranus isn't quite yet underneath. Saturn is above, but Uranus needs to be underneath for like full continuation. We're also getting super oversold, obviously, in the RSI on Bitcoin as well. So that's interesting. What's the Bollinger Band saying? So the Bollinger Bands, we the blue is beginning to slope down. So when the red catches up, could that be a cross to then bring it down? We've been pretty much in green for a while, and it's going into the white now. So could this be getting ready to change? Because as you notice, when it goes into the white, it then goes into the red, and then so on. When it goes into the lighter red, it's beginning to get ready to change. So do keep that in mind as well. Where's my chart? Where are you, baby? Let me just reset this. So yeah, keep that in mind. So just putting up the moving averages now so it don't get messy. Let me close the luminaries. So the estimated moving averages, we're getting the 8, the 55 and the 200. So price is being supported by the 8 right now, though there is quite a gap. So this is why I'm like, could that be the potential downward movement? Yeah, when was the last time it touched the 200? So back in September, basically end of 2023. Could we, before continuation, want to retest this 200 moving average, get a little closer to it? We may wick down a little bit lower, that's touching that 31 to 32 range, come back up, find some support before gaining more support on this zone. That is another possibility. But let's take a look at the estimated moving averages. So let me just close this one. So again, they are beginning to spread out. So the estimated moving averages are beginning to spread out. So it's like yeah, when it spreads out, we'll see how it goes. We'll just see how it goes. It is beginning to spread out, so it may just want to retrace back. Again, it's quite far from the 200 moving average, but will it touch that? The last time it touched it again with the SMAs, it was round about the same point back in the end of 2023, the last time it touched it. So could it want to touch that again? It's a possibility. We don't know. Let's put on the Bollinger Bands to see. As you can see with these Bollinger Bands as well, we were literally following the resistance level of the Bollinger Bands before we seem to have got rejected off it. Could we come back down first to the, is this the 55 on the Bollinger Band? The middle of it, basically. I can't remember that term. I'm doing my best. But we could find little support on this middle zone of the Bollinger Band. So it's like price may come back and retest that. Is that 46k? About 46k. And ultimately, I'll probably say see what happens round about that zone. Can we hold it? And we'll pay attention obviously to when the RSI comes in as well. If price reaches down to that 46k zone, if it can't hold it, it will come back down to the lower end of the Bollinger Band of 49. So this is why it's like, oh, if we're to get that wick lower, the Bollinger Bands could expand a bit. We could get that wick lower just below the Bollinger Band and then come back into it quite quickly. That is an option, because also I've literally clicked options on the laptop, because also, let's just bring this up. Obviously I had a new chart, so I got rid of my line. I did get rid of my line, so let's draw it before we get on to, let me remove the Bollinger Bands and just put the line there. Just much more simpler with this line. With the line chart, we do have this green line. So it was there on my other videos, but I cleaned my chart because I'm a good girl. So we do have this coming in, and interesting that it touches here about April. That's super interesting. So this is a clear support. We've got one, almost hit it. Could you say that that's two? Didn't really touch it though, but we've got one, then we've got two clusters. Will it want to make its third cluster of trading here before continuation to the upside? So that's another like confirmation of why it could be going that low, as well as this Leo full moon being fire sign before getting that I am sun energy and bouncing back up again. I don't know, I feel if it's to touch this last breakout zone, I'm seeing more of a spring. It probably won't last there that long before possibly trading more around about this zone, highs of 30 to 40, even if it's finding this as its resistance, this level as its resistance before it can go through again. But we'll see as the cycles go on. It will get clearer, but I'm giving you this all in advance for potential buying opportunities. Oh, mama's getting tired. So the Bollinger, no, not the Bollinger Bands, the MACD is sloping to the lower side. It is sloping to the lower side, so that's interesting. Let's just pull up the RSI on the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, this is interesting. We were moving from this oversold area and we were rejected, found support off the 55, bounced off it. Could we then, but we're sloping down, as you can see, could we then come back below it, you know, just to fill out on the smaller time frames, the 4 hour, possibly creating a higher high within the RSI, possibly then giving a bullish divergence, you know, so from a bearish divergence to a bullish divergence. But it could create that lower high and then continue, or will we just find support on the RSI on this 50 and then go up? Don't know. We'll have to see, lad. We really have to see. We would. I don't see much need of, no, I'm going to do it anyway. and do it anyway, because why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? So yeah, being supported, as you can see on the 4 hour, it is, Uranus is below. It is below, which is good. So I do feel even if prices to come back down to this point, there will be like a trading cluster happening round about this zone. But if we push below Uranus, oh gosh, if we push below Uranus, we're going down lower. So do keep that in mind. Keep it in mind for sure. On the 4 hour, we are below the 8. So this red line, we are below the 8. And again, it's like we've got the 200 here. Could we come back down to gain proper support? Oh gosh, and we're pretty much almost below all of the EMA ribbons. So another confirmation for potentially downward momentum. We don't need to go lower than the 4 hour on this. This is kind of what I'm seeing. We're only in a few days of the new moon energy, or well, the last pretty much day and a half of this transition energy. So don't be surprised if there's a little bit of last little upward thing, but I do see pretty much from this point we're retesting, we're just retesting. So do keep that in mind. Mama's getting tired and I'm also hungry. So let's go on to the DXY and then we'll finish up. If you did like Bitcoin's technical analysis, do let me know, and of course give a like on the video. So when it comes to the DXY, if you don't know, we look at the DXY because often prices opposite of the dollar, they move oppositely. So we've got Bitcoin against the US dollar, we have XRP against the US dollar. So if the dollar's going up or going down, crypto could potentially be doing the opposite. So just looking at what it's doing now, I need to put my drawings back on because nothing makes sense, just the chart by itself. So again, if you've been following me, watching my past Crypto Angles podcast, you would have seen I said it seems like a head and shoulder. This looks like a face. And then it looks like a face inside of a bigger face. I love this. So anyway, my inner child coming out. This head and shoulder potential interesting move could bring us to this level. That's why this green line is here. So it's like the way price has moved, we were rejected off of this level, kind of came back down, then we broke through, and it's like we're pretty much retesting it again. So ultimately it's to see how price moves, but it does seem like we are getting an indecision candle that's coming. So it's like though we've gone down, we're getting a little indecision in the market, getting ready to change direction. So do pay attention to that possible candlestick, as it may just be on its support and then getting ready to continue up as it's retested pretty much where it's broke out from. So do keep that in mind, and this is why, especially if it's able to reach this level, the 10, oh gosh, no, this is the 105. If it can break past this 105 and it just super extends into like 107, literally 106, 107, that's when it would create that. And as I said in one of my other videos, if it is to do that, it's kind of creating this very stretched out M. A very stretched out M, this double top. Yeah, like a whole double top structure. So if it is to do that, just from there to its head, I'm going to be conservative and just give it a little bit more space. But let's just move up. If it's to do that and it breaks below it, how low could we potentially go? So if it breaks out of that, 95 on the dollar, and if it's to do that, people, this drop from being up there, and then it slowly just staggers down into the end of the year. Like, it won't be this quick. Even though I've put it there, it won't be this quick. It will probably stagger out, as it was this drawn out thing on this side as a side, so the other side, as above so below, it mirrors. So it could just stagger out throughout the year, which is basically crypto then moving up. As I said, Leave the World Behind gave some important dates. So it wouldn't surprise me if the dollar could potentially do this, just staggers low and so on. So do keep that in mind for the long term. But what I am seeing on the short term anyway is that price is retesting, and once it finishes retesting, it could then move up, causing crypto to create their lows. So look on the MACD on the daily. So the MACD, they are coming close together. We're getting a little bit of a lighter color. Could we have a slightly lower momentum in price? But let's take a look at the RSI. So the RSI on the daily is fascinating. It's just been moving up, and it hasn't been overbought yet. So price has begun to turn. So could we get rejected off this yellow moving average, or could we find just a little resistance on it before breaking through to create a higher structure on the RSI? That is definitely a possibility. So do keep that in mind. And what else? Let's just put on all of these moving averages and ting. Interesting. So it is still trading between the luminaries, so that's interesting. But taking a look at the SMA, so right now it's a little bit below the 8. Could that keep us restricted for a bit? It's just finding its support here while the 200 and the 55 catch up. I don't like the fact that 200 is above the 55. However, the 55 could definitely then come up, cross the 200, giving more momentum to parallel it up a little bit more. But taking a look at the EMAs now. So on the EMAs, the 200, this green line is getting ready to cross the, what's that, the 34. It's getting ready to cross the 34, which is the red line. So again, it's kind of showing upward momentum, and it's sitting quite nicely on the 8. And just a quick look at the Bollinger Bands. So as you can see, the Bollinger Bands, it was being rejected off it as support, and it could potentially just come down to retest just the middle of it, as it did right here. Look, it found its support on this blue line, the middle of the Bollinger Bands, before jumping up and hitting the resistance of it. It wicked down to it. It then done it again, hovered on it, and then jumped up. So we could potentially be getting that little retest on it before continuation. And this is where it's like, if Bitcoin XRP has that little moment to just go up that teeny little bit before complete rejection, when the dollar is ready to continue on up. So that's your possibility. Just one quick look at the 4 hour. Let's just get another sight of it. So RSI on the 4 hour is low, but will we get lower? Because this part, obviously it's lower, and price was lower here too, but it's like on the RSI, even though it's a bit higher than it, it seems like the RSI were quite close to this price range, kind of confirming to me we're potentially at more of the bottom. Again, with the MACD, we are shifting. It's kind of like the blue is getting ready to scope, and we are shifting within our colors. So we're turning as well on the RSI on the 4 hour. So when the market opens at this time tomorrow, because oh gosh, it's almost 2:30 a.m. Oh, mama's tired. When the market opens, we could just get some hovering before continuation, but mama's tired. I really need to end this now. Do let me know if this made sense, if you like this depth analysis, if if you liked any aspect. Of course, do make sure you grab the calendar so you can follow along. If you do want this one, there will be the digital copy. So this is digital and this is digital. This one's physical, this one's physical. This will be a sale. It will be, so don't worry about that. I'll put it on, not tonight, but it will be on by the time you're watching this video. Do grab it. Do, of course, check out my other videos because I feel it's also important. You can link it to crypto as well with what's going on in the hologram. Do grab a personal reading if you would like. Do like the video if it resonated, if you see this in the market, if you like anything about this, or if it helped you in any way. Do share it. Please comment. Let me know. I love all feedback. And this was Crypto Angles podcast number 47, the 11 portal. We stepped through a door right now. And of course, I'll see you in the next podcast, number 48. I don't know what that number is. I can't think. Is it 12? 3? A new frequency. But with that being said, thank you so much for sticking to the end of the video. And I'll catch you ideally in my energy update on Thursday. But if not, in the next Crypto Angles podcast. But bye. Angel out.